What's going on, everybody? Today I am super excited to bring you guys the very first pet unboxing for the channel. So you may be able to tell just by the size of the box. You can see it's pretty small. I do have 3 younger tarantulas in here. Of course, I did already open it up and check it out just to make sure they were still alive and kicking. It sort of drives me crazy. I see a bunch of people online doing like real-time unboxings where they're cutting everything, and often I think the excitement sort of gets to them of getting a new pet. In this case, you know, a tarantula or a scorpion or something like that, and I feel like they're just a little bit too overzealous and they're really rough with the package. And just remember, when you are getting pets like this in the mail, especially young tarantulas, aside from when the tarantula is going to be molting, being shipped to you that first time is probably going to be the most stressful time in their life. So when you're doing this, just be extra careful. Remember, tarantulas sense every vibration way more than you can ever hope to imagine, so just be extra careful with this. And just try to remember how stressed out the animal probably is. Okay, again, I have already opened this up just to check everything, cut the tape. Just still be as careful as you can when you're unboxing these fragile little guys, or girls. So I do have 3 tarantulas. 2 are slings or spiderlings. The first is the Mexican fireleg tarantula, Brachypelmo bomi. Next up is the Mexican red rump tarantula, Brachypelma vagans. And lastly, this one's about 2 inches long, a little bigger. It is the king baboon from Africa. This is Pelanobius muticus. And as you can probably tell just from the size of the containers, the 2 Brachymelma species are much smaller. I think they were 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch leg span, so they're definitely slings. And the king baboon, I will take the lid off in just a second when I transfer it. You can see right here, pretty good size, beautiful cinnamon color. So I will get these guys transferred. As you can see, I do have basic habitats for them set up. The larger one is for the king baboon, and the 2 smaller ones for the Brachypelma species. This is another area a lot of people make their first mistake on for tarantula keeping. They give an enclosure for the spider that is just way too big, and it sort of stresses the spider out. Remember, they're going to just be hanging around sedentary for most of the time. They probably move around at night, but smaller is always better for the tarantula enclosure. As far as the transfer is concerned, I'm just going to see if I can actually open this up carefully and just sort of dump the spider in the new habitat. Should be pretty straightforward, but just in case it bolts, since they are probably quicker than you think they can be, I do have a flat piece of Tupperware I can use to corral them, and then a little plastic piece of dome to surround the spider and do the transfer. Alright guys, wish me luck. They are so cute when they're this small, look at that. I'll do close-ups once I get them transferred, but look how little that guy is. I can't wait to see. It's fascinating seeing how bland their coloration is when they're slings and juveniles, and as it just sort of gets more vibrant as they age and molt. Being stubborn already. Super stubborn. I did see this one moving around earlier, so I know it's not dead. It's just sort of sitting there right now, though. There it goes, just a little bit. Come on, get in there. Well, I'm not sure what showed up on camera, but it did sort of get away from me there for a little bit, caught it, and now it's got its front leg sort of on the rim. I'm waiting for it to go down so I can safely close the lid without risking damaging the specimen. Alright, I didn't really like the way that first transfer went, so for the second one, the Brachypelma vagans Mexican red rump, I'm going to use the container that the first one came in, and I'm just going to transfer it directly into that, because you can see it is just a little bit bigger. This one with the substrate in pretty much covers half of it, and as you can see right there, they can easily crawl out of there, so I'm just going to dump this one right into the similar sized enclosure. This next one, it's that dark spot right there, just sort of cuddled up next to the rim right there, so I'm hoping once I open this it'll be an easy transfer. We'll see. Come on. Must have been a long journey. They're acting tired. Okay, got both of the slings transferred, and these are just temporary enclosures. I have some nice small rectangular plexiglass ones on order. Hopefully they'll be here tomorrow or the next day, so we'll transfer them again. And I know you never want to transfer the spiders too much too often, but it is what it is with the shipping. Now on to the king baboon. And for this one, even though the species is much more aggressive and the spider's easily 2 to 3 times larger than the others, the enclosure is much bigger, so I think the transfer will go easier just because the other one, it seemed like they could just crawl over quickly. So here we go. Keeps burrowing under every time I try to move it. Well, it certainly wasn't pretty, but I got her in there. And here's a good shot of this one real quick. Good size, looks like about 1.5 inches body length, probably 2 inches leg span. Nice rich cinnamon color, should stand out nicely with the substrate, which is dark brown. And these are a burrowing species, so hopefully she'll make her burrow along the side, which I sort of started with my finger in the substrate so I can actually see her when she's not walking around, which should be most of the time.